Welcome to the AFC East Shakedown. I am Tommy. Joining me is Curtis. Below is Anthony. And over there is Zach from Pats Today. What is going on, fellas? And I have a special guest, an OG of AFC East Shakedown. Mr. One. What up, man?
Going on? I miss you guys very, very.
Man. We miss you too, brother, man. We definitely miss you, man. So how you been? First of all, how you been, Juan? How's life and how's watching Patriots football been since I haven't last talked to you? It's been a little bit as far as Patriots football.
For
you at least.
That's a very loaded question because they have two very different answers.
Okay.
One is positive and one is maybe not so positive, but it has positivity in it. But it's not entirely positive. My life is going fine. Loving everything about it. It's great. Blah, 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 blah. I know nobody cares about that.
No, we care. Of course we care.
Don't humor me now. Now, when it comes to the actual Patriots, however, it is a little bit of a roller coaster. You know, King the Ka, where it's just boom. A lot of it is like that. But I do have some bright side, I got a little quarterback who's doing this little thing, you know what I'm saying?
I know you do.
Someone to look forward to playing every week except this one. But I'm there, I'm watching, I'm suffering, I'm cursing people, the coaching staff out every game, stuff like that. But I'm good otherwise. I miss you guys.
Good, brother.
I miss you, Tommy. I miss you. Good to meet Zach and Anthony for the first time. I'm happy to be here for the first time in a year and change.
Yeah, man. Hey, dude, it's never the same without you, but the show must go on. But we miss Trevor too, man. How's Trevor been?
He's doing well. He's actually doing very well.
Oh, see that? Look at you guys. Good for you.
Very well.
And Trevor was, by the way, guys, if y'all don't know, he was the king of the rants. He'd always do the epic rant of the week. He would always be the last person to do one, and the chat loved his rants. So, and he would go down all different types of holes, man, rabbit holes on his rants. So let's get this thing going from last week's game. So let's start first with the Seahawks and the Jets. Oh, Anthony, once again, the Jets. Oh, no. Let's start with the Jets. Go for it, Anthony.
Let's start with it for sure. I didn't know what I was watching at first. I was quite impressed. 14-0. I definitely thought that something was clicking here. Something looked like it was kind of moving in the right direction. The Jets have historically throughout the season started off slow and then kind of picked up the offense when it was too little too late. The other way around this time around. They started off fast, 14-0. Give up that touchdown to Seattle, then get a kickoff return. Everything was looking fine and dandy until it wasn't. The Jets had an opportunity to go up in the red zone, 28-7 on a wide open pass. Garrett Wilson looked like 10 yards of separation, maybe even more than that from the defender. Rodgers sailed it. Rodgers obviously frustrated, pissed off. Then the next play was basically a mirror image of what we saw against Minnesota. Defensive lineman kind of backing out a little bit in coverage and throw the ball right to him. And how a 300-pound guy runs 92 yards for a touchdown is beyond me, but that's what happened on that play. It's just one thing after another. It's been the same shit with the Jets every single week, man. It's inconsistent throughout the game. When the offense is rolling, the defense is not. When the defense is shutting things down, the offense is not doing anything either. It's just been way too much inconsistency. Complementary football is not there, and I think that's probably, if you look at the way the season has gone, a huge reason why we're sitting here at 3-9 instead of where we all envisioned this team to be, somewhere at or above 500 was definitely a lot of people's goals and expectations.
There has to be some good news with the Rodgers documentary on Netflix for Jets fans. I'm sure that eases the pain a little. Huh? Are you guys excited for that, or?
Oh man, I don't think anybody's watching that.
You're not going to gather the family around the.
No, not around the Christmas tree. I think that is.
You don't want to see his meditation and all that stuff. Okay.
Stream bath thing he got going on in the trailer. I'm good with all that shit, man.
Okay, just making sure.
I can live life without seeing that.
Has he gotten out of the dark hole yet? He's mentioned the dark hole before. He's been there a few times. Is he still in the dark hole?
I mean, he's with the Jets. He's still in the darkness right now.
Okay, still in the darkness. Okay. So, it's funny, during the game, because we're all in a group chat on X is what they call it now. Anthony was like, what am I watching when the Jets were up? And I was so mad because I had a parlay going. I'm like, no, there's no way the Jets are going to win. You guys are up 14-0. I'm like, Jesus, man, freaking Jets, right? Like, I bet I'm for him. I bet against but there you go. Like, Jets did the Jets thing. So, Zach, how do you feel about that game, man, watching that game, Seahawks-Jets?
It's honestly kind of crazy to me how many chances the Jets have had this year on potential game-winning drives or go-ahead drives at the end of a game that they've just failed on. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers for a reason. I know, obviously, it hasn't worked out that way, but because you think he can command an offense. And quarterbacks are supposed to command these game-winning drives. Not that it's going to work every time. I know I'm spoiled. I got to watch Tom Brady for the first large portion of my life, who in those scenarios, it did work every time. But I know that, again,
it didn't work in the Super Bowl against the Giants.
Oh, Zach.
That's what counts. Perfection.
I couldn't even walk back then. I was like 3 months old.
I had to.
3 months old. Didn't affect like Zach quite as much, all right?
Affected me, man. I was traumatized. I was sitting in the corner of the room going, no! Yes!
So I guess I can rephrase from my years 2 to 12 or whatever year he left. I try to get the leaving part out of my mind, but Tom Brady was able to pretty consistently connect on these game-winning drives, and I know it's not like that with every quarterback, but when you get Aaron Rodgers, you expect it to be about as close to that as possible. It's been the exact opposite, and it is pretty insane to me how many opportunities they've had that they've just failed on, and especially with the talent on that offense and the seasoned veteran at quarterback, and how like Anthony said, a lot of the time the Jets are kind of picking it up, or at least the offense is picking it up at the end of the game. Right, they start off slow. I know that wasn't the case this week necessarily, but they start off slow and then they get pretty they get into it pretty quickly after that. But then this last drive, they just fizzle out. Game in and game out. I don't know, Anthony. You might have the number on this. You might not. Do you know how many game-winning drives they've had a chance on this year? Because it really feels like it
seems like a lot.
So the true measure, and it's a little like. I saw it out there, like 5 game-winning opportunities, 0 for 5, but that's not entirely accurate when you look at the season. Tennessee was a game tied going down the stretch. Rodgers with opportunity to win the game. They did go. So I don't know where the 0 for 5 comes in, exactly where that stat's coming in, because they did it against Tennessee. Against Indianapolis, he had the ball last in the game with an opportunity to win the game. Didn't do it. But people forget too, the drive right before that was also a drive he commanded, brought down the field. So the over 5 is a little kind of odd, but yeah, there's been 5 games where he's had an opportunity with the ball last. I mean, the Patriots game, can you really count that when you had the ball for 10 seconds? I mean,
Sure,
it counts.
Yeah,
as
I
that,
hear that.
but
True.
I
That's a good
mean,
point.
he's no Mahomes at this stage of his career to do it with minimal time. Sorry, Tommy. Didn't mean to bring up that piece of news.
Oh, that's all
Yeah,
right. That's all right.
It's been 5 opportunities, and in those 5 opportunities, the result of the game has been a loss.
Real quick, Juan. So before we get your take on the Seahawks Jets game, what's your thoughts really on the whole AFC East? Like, did you predict? Like, how did you see this the East going when we entered the 2024 season?
I could talk about old shit. I haven't been here in a long time. Okay, prediction since August. Everybody slept on you guys for some stupid ass reason. I never understood it. So I had you guys win like 11 or 12. You're about to win 13. So that I guess I got that one correct. Miami, I think I had them with like 9 or 8, but like just missing out, which is looking like that might happen. Because I think they're gonna go on a run and win 8 or 9. My bum ass team, I think I had us winning 4 or 5. I think we're probably maybe 4, if not stay at 3. I'll go talk about them when we get to our game, and I have my whole little spiel about them. And the Jets, I had them with like 7, and I'm not gonna get that. So because I knew this was gonna be a failure from the beginning, and it makes me fucking laugh. My team sucks, right? I have 2 things going for me for this season. I have Drake, and I have the Jets failure. Because this cannot go any better than I even imagined. Even I thought they were going to go around 500, and it's insane, and I absolutely love it. Every week they give me something to laugh about, and I love it. I thank you guys because you are the gift that keeps on giving.
They're not giving me no gifts.
I'm sorry
know what
about that.
gift you're getting.
I just met you, and then it's starting to get hostile already a little bit. I'm not bad, brother. It's all love.
Don't worry, Anthony's been feeling it, man, for the last 2 or 3, really all season. But yeah, he's been getting the chat has been getting on him.
The Jets had everyone fooled. They had us all believing they were going to go for Super Bowl. They're sitting here going for the first overall pick in the mid-December.
Not if we have anything to say about it.
All flipped upside
That's
down.
right.
Word, yeah, Zach. Yeah.
We got that strength of schedule advantage.
That's
That's what we got.
I don't think. I think the Jets are going to figure out a way to win. I don't know how. I don't know who they're. I mean, Jacksonville's probably the game I see them winning down the stretch, but they're going to figure out a way to win 2 games and just put themselves in like that middle quarterback purgatory, regardless of the result.
I think you're going to find a way to win 2 more.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I
get from
think
like 5 to like 8.
I don't know
be
what the
in
other
there
one is.
somewhere.
Yep. Let's see the Owl Show. I think the other teams want Rodgers to get the ball at the end so they can intercept them and win the game. That's what has happened, actually. I think he's just, I don't know what the deal is, man. It just seems like he doesn't get rid of the ball quick, and like he's going through his reads too slow, and he's just not. He's like a standing duck in the pocket. It just seems like when teams get going after him, he just gets.
I think it's
I don't know what is going on.
Because the number one reason why I never understood people think he was going to be good is because you do know he's 40 and he tore his Achilles a year ago, right? So that kind of messes with that. You kind of need your feet to throw the ball. So if your foot is not healthy or it ripped at age 40, you're not going to be able to throw the ball. And I'm not going to lie, in the first month or so, he had me fooled a bit because he was still kind of throwing darts, but it was a little inconsistent. But now that the season has waned on, those are gone now.
And you can see that he's getting hit too, Juan. Like
my next thing, he doesn't want to get hit anymore because he's 40. He's been getting hit for 20 plus years. He don't want to do that. That happened to Tom when he was in Tampa. His last year, you can see Tom is getting rid of the ball so quicker than usual because he did not want to get hit anymore. He's 45. And Rodgers is 40. He's
made it easy to get that ball out quick.
Yeah, he's letting that shit out because he's not trying to get hit anymore. And then another thing, this is from like more media stuff that I hear about. He was never, according to them, never really good at the mechanical stuff in the first place. You know, he always throws his ball off his back foot and does all the crossbody shit before Mahomes was even doing it. Ryan Rodgers doing that first. So he never had quite the quarterback mechanics down packed. Now that his feet don't work anymore, now that now that he doesn't have the mechanics set, he can't really deliver the balls he's supposed to anymore because he can't move around and do the back foot stuff that he used to be able to win MVPs with. Now that's gone. Hence why how he missed that Garrett Wilson touchdown last week as a quarterback in the NFL, I will never fucking know. But that's probably why. So those are
I
the
have no
three
idea.
reasons why
That's
he
crazy.
is where he is.
I
And
think
I mentioned a little bit last week.
I think the offensive line is what failed the Jets the most.
Oh yeah.
With Aaron Rodgers, I'm saying, because if they had a younger quarterback that was more mobile, maybe he can, get around an offensive line that is not the greatest, right? He could scramble a little bit, get out of harm's way, make a play. But Aaron Rodgers, at this point in his career, that's not what he is. He's not what he was in Green Bay. You know what I mean? He's not going to get out of the pocket like he used to. So I think that hurt. I think that hurt him being with the Jets. Like, they never had an offensive line. And look, he got his Achilles torn the very first play of against us, trying to get away from what? A sack of the very first play.
It was the first drive, not the first play.
Sorry, first drive. Same thing.
Fourth play.
Fourth play, yeah. First drive, first series. Pretty much, let's just say the first play, right? Right, pretty much. So, I don't know. I think the offensive line, I think your GM, for as much as I felt like he did pretty good while he was there. He also didn't help out the offensive line.
He failed in the trenches, I think is where it all comes down to, especially this season. I mean, first couple of years he was there, defensive line was elite. And this year, he kind of stripped away the defensive line, put it on the offense. The offensive line has been pretty solid this year. I think a lot of, if you look at the stats and the box scores of what the offensive line is doing, it's hard to kind of identify where the problem is because you look at the sack numbers, it looks big. But I think a lot of these sacks, if you kind of attribute it to whether or not it's based on timed throw versus immediate pressure, a lot of times it is the situation we're talking about here. Rodgers just not delivering the ball quickly.
Yeah, he's holding on to it.
Enough. Yeah, they're not an elite offensive line by any means, but they're better than what was on the field in Joe Douglas's first 4 years when he was there, or first 5 years when he was there. So I mean, that's not saying much because the first 5 years was terrible, but this is definitely a move in the right direction. Tyron Smith was just an utter disaster, but Olu's come in these last couple of games and he's looked pretty solid on the left side. So I guess that's something the Jets can have working in their favor moving forward.
Who's your backup? Tyrod?
Backup quarterback? Yeah.
Taylor.
He's having a problem, by the way, getting his girlfriend out of his house. You guys got.
I saw that. We've reached that point this season. The kicking your girlfriend out of the apartment part.
You should ask Aaron Rodgers for advice. I think he has some experience in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you see that thing about Aaron Rodgers' ex-girlfriend, his Shailene Woodley, whatever her name is?
Oh
so she was in darkness when she was with him.
Yeah, she hit depression, and I seen that this morning. Yeah.
What the frick, man? Where the hell is all this bullshit coming from? Oh,
this is great. So, Juan, do you have anything to say about that?
Dream world with Taylor Swift. We got friggin' Shailene Woodley friggin' on a depression gate over here.
Do you have anything to say about the Seahawks Jets game, or is it just a typical Jets floundering at the end?
It's just the special teams was wild. That's kind of how they were winning the game in the first place. The Seattle defense played perfectly fine to me from the little that I saw. I didn't see that much.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about the special teams.
But the special team was it? Is it LaVisca? No. Is it LaVisca Chenault? Is that who they? Oh, I'm thinking about Carolina.
Yeah.
I forget which team.
Chenault
was the one, right? Yeah, those fumbles were
one of them.
The fuck? What is all that? They kept putting him on the field too.
Bounced for hours. It seemed like it. I don't even know how the ball got all the way to the other side of the field on a kickoff. But yeah, that was crazy.
I don't understand. So that was how they were getting. I'll see you, Scott. I'll miss you, Scott. I love you. I don't know if that's how they got up in the first place. But the Jets defense actually looked pretty decent for the most part in the game because Seattle was so up and down. So I'm not surprised that Jets defense got something going. I don't know if they're going to continue to look decent because before this, oh Jesus Christ, they look bad. But in this game, maybe they can pick something up. But then what Anthony was saying earlier, that they might sneak away 2 games if the defense can continue to move up somehow from this game. Maybe they were able to steal 2. But to me, it said a little bit more about Seattle than it did more about the Jets. Because like you said, I kind of expected something like this to happen to begin with. Not really being in this game like that.
Curtis, your thoughts on the Jets Seahawks game?
I like to bust on people's chops, but I'm not saying that right now. I don't think this is probably the greatest letdown as far as talent, estimations, hype. I've never seen anything like it. It's these critical failures that, are almost like they're spectacular in the way they happen. I mean, they were winning and Breece Hall I'm like, oh, it looks like they're going to win this one. Also, I turn away and come back and Breece Hall fumbles the football like on the first play of the next drive after a big stop. And then Rodgers had his thing. It's the most spectacular failure because it's just this continual letdown of big plays and stuff that you just like comes out of left rearview mirror. But like if you pull it all together, for me, I've been saying the NFL is no longer fun ball, and in that the shotgun all day draws does not work. The sitting in pistol all day does not work. Defense is key on that stuff. The game is about running the football in the A and B gap, wearing these defenses down, getting some nice play action off. They're allowing 126 yards on the ground and only 87 on offense. And that is not the formula. You've got to either preferably both, be competent in running between the A and B gap and stopping that run in the A B gap. And they cannot. I don't know how many times I watch teams just run inside and blow them out the door. And guys like Tyron Smith just wasn't good enough. But I don't think the offensive line is the main problem. I don't even think Rodgers is the main problem. I think that just like my Dolphins, they're fighting the last war. The philosophy that my Dolphins run under, the philosophy that the Jets run under is fun ball. Get after the quarterbacks. Getting rid of Myers to get the dude from Seattle was a big loss. And just they're so thin inside. Quentin Williams is great, but he's better pass rusher. You needed a big guy, stout guy next to him. They don't got it. And so, I mean, you look at
JFM, they traded him away for peanuts.
Yeah. It was a terrible move because this is what the game's about. You look at KC, they can stop the inside run. They can run inside with three of the best interior linemen. You look at what the Bills are doing. Their whole offense is based on the inside run. Everything flows out after that. I don't like their run defense so much. I think it's good, but I think they can get outmatched at certain points. But that offensive line's very coherent. They got great chemistry. You look at Steelers, they've got terrible offensive line, but they keep running that football. They can stop the inside run, and they make those big plays. And you keep looking. You look at teams like San Fran is struggling because the offensive line, you don't get those two-a-days anymore. And so your offensive line is going to be garbage unless you've built that talent up, or you get like the Bills is really unbelievable level of consistency. And so the Jets, they sit in this shotgun. They think they're going to be able to do like they did 5 years ago. And you just key in on the run game. And then you get all these big plays. They're getting 24% pressure rate. But he's choking under the pressure a little bit. But defenses are keying in. And so I think that if you had a system that was 30% under center, you were able to run the football inside, it would open everything up. But this is basically the offense is Rodgers sit back there and just throw the football to victory. And it's not happening for a 40-year-old guy. It just nobody's doing it. Nobody. Burrow's the only guy to do it. And you can see how it works on defense. They can't stop anybody. And he's taking a beating again. So I think the Jets just are spectacularly failing. I'm hoping the spectacular failure continues this week, but we'll talk about that later. But you can look at Seattle. They're not really a good team, but they run that football. That kid they picked up. What's that kid's name they picked up in like mid-rounds a couple of years ago?
Kenneth Walker.
No, the yellow guy.
Charbonnet.
Yeah. And what is he? He's a big guy. They've invested in that offensive line. They continue to run the football. They make big mistakes too, but they're physical, and they're able to stop that inside run. They invested in good DT. I can't remember the guy's name, but they're able to marginally do it with these big plays. And that's how they really took advantage. I mean, they should have lost, but the Jets did what they always do, which is it's unbelievable. This just, hey, it was snatching victory from the jaws of the feet or what is it?
That's what it is. That's what it is.
So that's really it.
Yeah. So Scott, basically in a nutshell, Curtis was just saying the Jets are terrible. All right, so let's because he got lost. He got a little lost.
I think it just stems from philosophy more than talent. Because you can't have this collection of talent.
The talent's there, but the losses keep coming.
There's a core understanding that's missing.
That's for you, Juan, from Scott.
Oh,
no,
man.
If you're gonna be
sorry,
no, this is a special guest today. But Juan will pop on here and there. I know he will. Well, this is maybe Trevor one day too. We enjoy this, man. This is pretty cool, man. So let's get to the next game, man. We'll start with you, Juan. The Patriots and Colts. Boy, that came down to the very end. Juan, talk to us.
I want to say one thing before we get into the actual game, because what really speaks to me is like the outrage that was happening after the game, because people were so pissed, people were so going crazy, and I understand. I really do. I get it. And it's good that people are so angry about the result and people are so sick of things, because we care again. And that's one of the things that we were looking for this season. We actually care about what's going on with the team, because last year that was one of the biggest disasters I've ever seen. But this, people will actually give a crap of what's going on, and that's good. However, people need to remember the mission. What is the mission of this season? We weren't coming into the season thinking we're going to win 6-7 games and try to be spoiler for everybody. That's not the mission, because that's how people are starting to act now that people see hope in a certain number 10 wearing person. No. The mission of this season was, for one, to get number 10 to play, which he did. 2, to make sure number 10 is going to be leading this franchise, which there's a 98% chance at this point that he will, because Jesus, I love this kid. And then 3, to make sure the people around him are going to be at least giving him stepping stones to lead this franchise, that's kind of the X right now. I'm not very happy about the things that are around him, but we got 2 of the 3. So this offseason, I know I'm jumping the gun, but this offseason is going to be the time in which we can really evaluate what's going on, because we got no mother trucking talent all around this team at all. Everybody kind of sucks.
Spend some money. Spend some money.
We're if we're not first, we're top 3 in cap space.
We're first by far.
Yeah, by far. See, we got so much money coming in to get some free agents. We're gonna have a nice draft position. Elliot Wolf, our GM, if no one knows, this is the offseason in which we judge him. But the point of me saying all this is to try to calm everybody down. As long as Drake May doesn't end up in the hospital, we will be fine for the rest of the season. Just enjoy the fact that we actually should have won the game, because to me, that's actually going a little bit ahead of schedule instead of what was actually expected. That's what the biggest thing that I want to say. In terms of the game, the offense was actually pretty damn decent. The Colts defense does suck because they're very outdated. They run that original Seattle 3 defense from 2013 that everybody and their mother already figured out by now. I don't know why they still run that shit, but Gus Bradley's their defense coordinator, and that's what he runs. So that's why they got diced up for 120 yards, because that's outdated. But nevertheless, the offense looked good. Alex Van Pelt actually looked like a C- level coach instead of an F-. They're like the rest of them, except on a few play calls that I'm sure Zach knows that he's going to talk his ish about, that I can't wait to hear about. But Drake May's looking good. The running game, especially Antonio Gibson, he was looking good. Everything was looking decent outside of the disgusting offensive line. The story of this game, the story of this team, is how disgusting this fluffy defense is, how much they suck. It is depressing, because we used to be good at that side of the ball for many years, but that's gone. They let Anthony Richardson, who can barely complete 50% of his passes, dice us up on like a fucking 5-minute drive to win the game, and got a 2-point conversion in which they got away with a huge hold on Bomber, by the way, but whatever. This is very frustrating, but remember the mission. Drake May is our mission. Next year is when we're really supposed to care about results, not this year. Yep. Remember that, Pats Nation. That's all I gotta say.
All right, Zach, go for it, man.
Yeah, I had to watch my team lose at the last minute. I feel like a Jets fan. It's crazy, but it's Yeah, it was definitely rough, to say the least. I mean, offensively had some things going. I'd say potentially Drake May's best game of his young career so far.
To me, it is.
0 turnover
Agreed.
worthy plays. Protected the football. I believe he was sacked 4 times. Strip sacks have kind of been a struggle for him, but he had 0 fumbles. Threw an interception, was not on him. Kind of put it on the wrong shoulder a little bit to Hunter Henry, but still a very catchable ball. Still one that Hunter Henry comes down with 99 times out of 100. But of course, that one time is the one that happened this week, or I guess last week. Tipped it up, bobbled it kind of on the ground, and then it got picked off. Just a circus play. Defensively, just it's been the same all year for the most part, not being physical enough to stop the run. Last year we saw a historically good run defense, I believe up until the last week of the season, which Breece Hall ran all over them in that game. But up until the last week, last year, I think they were on pace to have like the best run defense in multiple decades, or some stat like that. They had a great run defense. It's not coming through anymore. I know some of that is due to injuries, but a lot of it is due to the coaching staff. Gerard Mayo, DeMarcus Covington, who I would say out of the 3 coordinators that the Patriots hired, Covington is the one that I trusted the most, and he is now the one who has been the worst by far, in my opinion. Wouldn't be surprised to see him out the door after this year. I think he will likely get another year, but it could go either way. It's kind of 50-50 in my opinion as of right now. But again, just not being physical enough, not being able to stop the run. They have a stud on offense in Drake May. They have a stud on defense in Christian Gonzalez. Everybody else, for the most part, is just disappointing. And a lot of that also comes down to coaching, not being able to coach these guys up to execute on the most basic levels. We saw so many penalties. I believe, I'm not sure the exact number in the red zone, but multiple instances where penalties forced them into more difficult situations that took points off the board. There's the one where they were at the 2-yard line and then got called for, I believe, 2 holds in a row, which set them back to the 22.
Good old long window.
And yeah, instead of
what's happening to that guy? He was good, man. He's having a terrible season.
He's had to move around so much. I can't help, but penalties are still inexcusable. But yeah, I mean, going from second,
like he's in the same darkness retreat place with Aaron Rodgers was.
They should make a Netflix documentary about me too.
I'd rather watch that. Do it.
Absolutely.
Instead of second and goal from the 2, turn to 2nd and 22. 2nd and goal from the 22. Excuse me. Just bad football. You can't have that happening. You need to be able to capitalize in the red zone. They had another instance where they still scored a touchdown on this drive thanks to Antonio Gibson being a hero here in New England. But the illegal motion by Demario Douglas, where he didn't get set prior to going in motion. On that play, Drake May threw a touchdown to Kendrick Bourne, but it got called back. Things like that are just inexcusably dumb. You can't have that happening. That is largely on the coaches who need to just, whatever it may be. I mean, I'm not a coach. I can't necessarily tell you, hey, this is the best drill to prevent our offensive linemen from holding, or this is the best drill to make sure that we don't have 5 false starts every game. But they need to figure something out, because it is horribly disappointing how just there's no situational football happening here, something that Bill Belichick always preached. He was always on top of, for the most part, always a very low penalty committed team. And now all of that has gone out the door this year. It's very hard to watch.
I have some
Man.
theories on the coaching thing, and I probably should save this for the rant part, but I'll just say it now because it's in my
Go
brain.
for
I know I'll
it.
forget.
Go for it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's like different reasons as to why each coach is ridiculous. I feel like for Van Pelt, I think the one his situational play calling is probably the biggest thing. But also, I also think he's trying to implement a scheme in which a lot of the players that we have don't really fit. Like I think we need more agile and athletic offensive linemen, and the most of ours are really fat, and that's not good. Like they don't really fit. Like he's trying to do the wide zone stuff and like more of the Shanahan stuff. You need more athletic guys to run that. But if I'm not mistaken, on one it was like 360 pounds. The dude is not gonna be a pullout guard and be able to get to the assignment on time. So like stuff like that is going on in which the scheme like kind of counteracts the personnel that we have. Whether good or not is a little irrelevant. It's more like they don't really fit it on the offensive side. I think that's the biggest thing. So Elliott Wolf has to fix that this offseason. For DeMarcus Covington, I have this feeling that they're trying to implement too much because like the communication is so bad. I don't think anybody knows what they're doing because they don't understand what's happening in the room. You know, I think that's the biggest problem. He's trying to implement too much crap instead of what Belichick used to do was keep things extremely, extremely simple, very simple. The do your job mantra is literally, I told you do this, you do this. For I guess now they kick that aside, which things I'm sure y'all made fun of with Kraft and trying to get rid of all the old Belichick stuff. I'm sure you laughed about all that already, but he's trying to implement too much crap for them to understand, and they don't know what to do at certain points because it's too much. Plus, they've lost captains, but injuries like Bentley. Bentley will be the one who will normally tell everybody what to do. But since he's gone, Pepper's got in trouble and just came back last week. He was another one who was a captain who will tell people what to do. They're counting on like Duggar and people like that who are not really good leaders, stuff like that. So I don't think that's probably another reason why this is going bad. And then drop Mayo, since I don't know who the fuck he thinks he is, thinking he's gonna be a CEO coach and let everybody else do the job for him, and he's gonna sit back and fucking watch. I don't know where he got that idea from, but his ass is supposed to be on the defense, but he don't do shit. So I think that's the biggest thing is going wrong with this coaching staff. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. The only person that I decently like is Van Pelt and the offensive line coach, because the offensive line coach is working with people who don't even fucking belong in the league, like Jamontre Jacobs, and who I forgot the center's name, and Vidarian Lowe, who I don't hate as much. Ben Brown, thank you. Like those guys, a lot of those guys don't belong in the NFL, but he's making it work.
Michael Jordan went from starting guard for 10 straight games to cut within however many days.
In a few weeks.
I mean, just immediate. Crazy. But I want to back that up a little bit too, real quick on the DeMarcus Covington side with there's too much happening. Kind of saw it a little bit on that touchdown to Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, the first touchdown, right?
Where it was very clearly a miscommunication. If you go back and watch it though, the Colts went from out of the huddle to the ball being snapped in about 2 seconds. They huddled up, ran straight to the ball, snapped it immediately, and the Patriots had 2 guys completely wide open. So the Patriots, they have again, going off of your theory, which I don't disagree with entirely. Obviously, who knows if it's true necessarily, but
there's no proof, of course.
I don't think that it's a bad theory, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, they didn't have the time. If something is more complicated, it's going to take more time. And the Patriots obviously had no answers for that play because they had 2 seconds to be able to recognize what the offense was doing and then have the ball snapped. Again, 2 guys completely wide open for just walk-in touchdowns. Also adding on to that a little bit, like how you said, they don't really have necessarily the smartest players out there, just partially because of the injuries, like with John Bentley and Jabril Peppers, his legal situation that now is mostly resolved. With that being said, I think that it is absurdly stupid to have Marte Mapu as a healthy scratch, because I know he's a younger guy, but he has been very clearly one of their smartest players. Came after being activated off the PUP list, was immediately a green dot guy, it was always taking mental reps during training camp when he was still on the PUP list, was always praised this year by Gerard Mayo and I believe last year by Bill Belichick for how smart of a player he is. They have this guy who's kind of like going to solve a lot of their problems, who's also a pretty good football player, not necessarily incredible, but he can hold his own out there. Absolutely. And they're making him a healthy scratch. It makes no sense.
So Roy's saying, so basically what you're saying is the Pats depth sucks.
I'm saying that the Pats suck. That's it.
Okay. Not just the depth, it's everything. But okay.
So Anthony, did you watch that game? Patriots Colts, or get a recap of that?
I mean, yeah, recap for sure. But I mean, I kind of rewind this a little bit to like Sam Darnold's rookie year, like when I was watching the Jets games at that point in time, like my spectating of that season was all about the development of the rookie quarterback. Does he show promise? And in a perfect world, obviously, we're fans. We're not rooting for losses, but we understand the benefit of a loss. That last 5-game stretch for Darnold that year was absolutely brilliant. Everything we wanted to see out of him. He was showing progress, multiple 300-yard games, bringing games down to the wire. And then the other team just basically torched our defense for game-winning touchdown drives. That's a win, like from a fan perspective. Like when you look at the overall, like quote-unquote goal of trying to have a rookie quarterback that's progressing, and also understanding that it's not about this year, it's about the years to come, and having that high-end draft capital to either supplement the roster with a top tier player, or potentially trade out and get more assets for future growth. It didn't obviously we don't know where this is going to end up eventually, but Drake May is continuing to show promise, and that's basically another story. I mean, Joey Slye missing that, what was it, 65-yard field goal, whatever it was.
68.
68.
That's wild. Yeah, that's wild.
Missing that field goal by the 1 or 2 yards or whatever it was he missed it by is a win for you guys. Like, I mean, what does a win in that particular situation really do for the long-term growth of this franchise? Yeah, it's a win. It's the feel goods of the current roster. But as you guys mentioned, a lot of these players aren't even going to be here next year. A lot of these players that are fringe roster guys are just probably not going to be on other NFL rosters to begin with. It's really just about, did Drake May put us in position to win? Yeah, he could have gotten us closer. Fine, whatever. You guys didn't have much time to operate with the football. He got you in a striking distance with, potentially making a kick. Didn't work out, but I think it's, when you look at the grand scheme of everything, it's what you guys need. As far as Anthony Richardson, I mean, going down the field, scoring that touchdown. Again, this defense has been a problem for the Patriots. It's been a problem all season long. I think the real question when you look at this draft is everyone's eyeballing this Travis Hunter at the top of the draft. Is that the guy that kind of finds the way in the Patriots? I don't know if that generally kind of benefits what the Patriots need to do. I think they really need to build around Drake May. And I know Travis Hunter is also a receiver, but I think his primary position would be corner in the NFL. I don't know if that's the direction you guys need to really go in. But I mean, again, this is a win for the Patriots when you consider the fact that Drake May look positive, and the defense continues to allow other teams to score on them late in the games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I watched that game. I gotta say, this past weekend of football, from Thursday of Thanksgiving all the way, I thought it was one of the best weekends of football for me. Like, a lot of close games, a lot of, came down to the wire, a lot of, a couple potential upsets. Like, the Chiefs game was wild. The Colts game came down to the very end. Credit to the Colts coach for going for a 2-point conversion, because I was like, I didn't see that coming. I thought he would. Most coaches just say fuck it, but I thought that was gutsy play calling by the head coach of the Colts, because you don't get that. That's game, baby. That's over. So, yeah, that was. Listen, man. I said this weeks ago about the Patriots. In a way, you want to lose. Like, this is what you want. You don't want to win, right? You want to be competitive, but you want the L's. You want the better draft seeding. Like, this is exactly what you want. You want to see promise from your quarterback. This isn't going to be your roster moving forward. This is the right way. Like, the Patriots are doing it the right way. They're building the team the right way. They didn't have to reach for a 45-year-old quarterback. They didn't have to trade multiple, to try to please everybody. Like, you're doing it the right way. And the right way is you're going to be bad for a couple seasons and you build and you build and you build. That's the right way. I would say the only question mark when it comes to the Patriots to me is the coach the right guy? And that you'll find out in due time. You know what I mean? Like that would be my only question mark when it comes to the Patriots. Other than that, I think you're heading in the right direction. I just don't know about your head coach yet. And it's unfair for me to say he's not the guy right now. It's way too early. So I would say I don't know if he's there yet as a head coach because I think he's still really ripe and young. And like he's kind of learning on the fly almost. It seems like I know he was under Belichick for a little bit or whatever, but I don't know. Like it's good. That's the question mark. Would it be your downfall? I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's up to the GM too. Like I don't know the GM and the head coach. Their connection, are they good? You feel like it's a good connection between owner, coach, and GM so far? I mean, you guys feel that way? You say so? Okay, so that's a good thing. So that's always a positive thing. But I guess you'll find out. Curtis, what do you feel about this game?
You win the battle and lose the war, or you lose the battle and win the war. And you look at the two quarterbacks; it's the key piece. You know, you got a new GM. His most critical piece was drafting quarterback. And, I saw things I liked. And, Zach was shaking his pom-poms, doing dancing, kissing pictures of him along the season. I was like, But then when I got to watch him against my team, and then I studied the 2 weeks, I think, prior that he had played, I was extraordinarily impressed. I mean, extraordinarily impressed because I know Tommy's panties are going to get an uproar because I'm going to compare and he's not going to like the comparison. But in a lot of ways, he's got that reminiscent of Allen, but he's way further along in his processing and his mechanics. I'm not saying he's Allen because what Allen does is extraordinary for that body to, run the football. It's not normal. I mean, Allen is not normal like that. If you took his ability to take all these blows and run people down like a fullback away, he wouldn't, but he can, and he has. And so he's spectacular in that, but he still has mechanical failures. There's still things where he's not processing as quickly, but because of this insane combo, he does these miraculous things. But with Myers, he's doing. You look at his numbers. Look at Richardson, 15.5 yards average depth of target, and ultimately 4.9 yards per catch. So he's just like staring guys down, holding the ball, moving around, and then he's got to check down. He's getting 50% pass rush mitigation to keep the pressure off. But you look at your guy, he's got 30% pass rush mitigation, which is insane for a young quarterback. They're just saying, hey, process, fine. We're not going to, we're not restricting guys and routes.
That number used to be much worse, too.
Yeah.
Much worse. Yeah. It was like in the 40s before.
Yeah. And so they're handing more responsibilities off to him at a very rapid rate. He had an average depth of target of 5.9, but it it went up to 6.9. And so he's operating, he's getting this ball off, getting it to guys in a way that they can make yards after the catch. He's preserving himself with one of the worst offensive lines I have seen. It's almost Dolphins 2021 version. And so, clearly you guys had 200 yards on the ground. You got the running backs. You don't have an offensive line. You've got the quarterback. You got Gonzalez. Duggar, I don't know. He's having an off season. He doesn't seem quite right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot that goes into that. But you got a few pieces. But if you're setting this franchise up, you got a GM. He's the most critical piece. You can't swap him out because his philosophy is being installed with all these picks. And so if you get rid of him, then the new guy comes in. You got to get – so it's critical that he does well, more so than the coach. So you got the quarterback. And then I was talking to Zach. He said there's not really a good offensive tackle group out there. You got Barmore, who's got the health thing, but you got a piece there. So you're really not obligated with this draft to take a guy with that spot. But you know that there's guys out there that want the quarterback position. And so if the Patriots and their GM, they can use this to trade out, collect draft picks and use those wisely and keep building with a quarterback who's operating with very little pieces. Much as I hate to say it, the trajectory is high. I'm not big on Mayo. There's things that struck me wrong. He seems like to have more hubris than actual talent at this stage, but he's really green, so you got to give him that. But who cares? If the GM nails the quarterback and he nails picks along the way, you swap out the coach. Who cares? If you got the right quarterback
after a few years,
right talent, and you're not reaching, then it's like, dude, I got a place that people want to go, and then you pick for the best of the league. So
that's why my opinion, the college football playoffs is freaking huge for us because we're really hoping to God that one of those other quarterbacks not named Shedeur Sanders like kicks ass, because if he does, he might be his draft stock will freaking skyrocket and we'll be able to trade out at the top.
Also what's good for us is good for us in the long run. Our final four is Arizona, Buffalo, Chargers, Buffalo. So more than likely that's 0-4. If Jacksonville, Vegas, or the Giants win one game, which I think Jacksonville and the Raiders play each other in these last few games. So the Patriots have a strength of schedule advantage over all of those teams. They have by far the lowest strength of schedule in the top 11 picks. The only team that's lower is outside of that, which is Miami. And I guess
we're going undefeated for the rest of the season, so don't worry. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're out of here. 4 deep chess is happening.
I think you are going to
Scott against your guys, Anthony. 2014 chess. Get ready.
The hope here is that I guess ideally the Raiders beat Jacksonville because Jacksonville's not going with the quarterback. The Raiders beat Jacksonville. New England beats out the Raiders for that third pick position. So then Jacksonville goes Travis Hunter, more than likely. The Giants go Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. And then the Patriots, one of them is still available. They can trade out rather than Ward and Sanders being taken by the Raiders and the Giants. Or again, like you said.
Again, that's a similar situation. No, I think the Jaguars trade out too.
I
think that's probably what happens.
Maybe.
But I don't.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean,
I don't know.
They could use anything though. So Travis Hunter is very attractive for them.
Yeah, if they fall in love with Travis Hunter, I think there is a high chance that they go with him. Especially because, I mean, if they go down to 4, let's say that again the Raiders get the 4th pick in this scenario, the Patriots have the 3rd, and then the Raiders trade up to get Shedeur or to get Cam Ward. The Jaguars, if they fell in love with Travis Hunter, who knows if the Patriots are going to take him, or with how highly touted he is, who knows if the Patriots can find a partner to trade back with, and then someone moves up and gets him. So
there's plenty of time for draft talk, but I think in that particular situation, I think a GM would be more inclined to, potentially the second best non-quarterback and all that draft capital, as opposed to the first best non-quarterback. Just my opinion. I hear what you're saying. That's obviously a big win for the Patriots in that scenario of having that second quarterback, a team that needs them, come up and get them, and we trade back and accumulate picks. But in that same situation, I think the Jaguars are looking at it the same exact way. If the Giants are picking second or Raiders are picking second, someone's going to want to jump up and get that quarterback. And I think,
I think that it just entirely – I don't disagree with that, but I think it entirely just depends on – how much a team likes these players. And again, who knows? But if Jacksonville is madly in love with Travis Hunter, it's going to be hard to get them to move down. Or if one of these teams doesn't really, maybe they like Shedeur Sanders and they like Cam Ward, but they don't love him to the point where they trade up to 1, because it's probably an extra first-round pick moving up to 1 instead of moving up to 3.
At least, yeah.
Then if they like him but don't love him, then you get a little bit of a discount there. If they don't see much of a difference between the two, then again, like they can just move up to 3 instead of moving up to 1 and get the leftover one for a cheaper price instead of getting whichever one they may have very slightly preferred. So it's all about, does a team like this player and how much do they like them? And that's what we're going to find out over these next 6 months or so, 5 months. But it's, again, at this point, who knows? I'm just saying this could end up being a very good situation for the Patriots.
You know what's going to happen is the Patriots are going to get second pick, Jets are going to be sitting there at 3, and you guys are going to trade, and Jets are going to get screwed outside the top 2 quarterbacks. That's what's going to happen. You're just saying you're being nice, point at different teams, but let's look at the reality. That's probably what's going to end up happening.
Well, let's move on to the AFC East champions, the King.
Miami Dolphins.
No, you guys lost. We already talked about that disgusting.
What do you mean we won? What are you talking about? I remember
you lost against the damn Packers.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the Bills wrapped it up against the 49ers, 35-10.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah. In the snow in Buffalo.
Get out of them. That's it. All right, move on. Next.
That's right, baby. No, but you know what, though? I will say this. It was a thing for many years for our team. We didn't play well at home in late December or January.
Let me be nice to you. Let me say this. This has been in my head for a few weeks. I have a group chat that talks about it, right? And one of them came up to me and was like, "Yo, is it me or am I in the prisoner of the moment when it comes to the Bills? Because for I don't know how many years, you guys did not like playing in very good weather games for some reason. I don't know what the
fuck was your problem.
We weren't built. We weren't built that way.
Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, they're kind of checking off some boxes that future, dare I say, contending champion-ish type teams kind of check off. You guys are definitely tougher than you ever been, in my opinion. Josh Allen doesn't mess up at all. That's gone. I don't know what the fuck happened between his 20 interceptions. Now he has what, like 4? Five. Like that's gone. Defense is tough, and you run the football pretty damn well now. I'm like, you guys kind of this year have the makings of actually making a real run, but until you beat your daddies, I will not pick you to do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I'm the same. Like I like going into the season. I said it, like, you know how we are. Like I knew we would win the East. I was confident enough for that. I really didn't think that. No offense. Yeah, no offense, Curtis and the Dolphins.
I said you would. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's a Dolphin fans or Jets fan. Like I always knew we were chasing one team. That was the Chiefs, right? And the rest of the team, like the Jets and the Dolphins, were chasing the Bills. And I just felt like we had the best quarterback in the division still, and that means a lot. We had a coach that's been there a long time. Like we had a lot of things, even though we lost some pieces. I didn't think the pieces were significant enough for this team to just all of a sudden fall off a cliff. You know what I mean? So, and I just felt like everyone bought in. So once we got the Cooper thing, because it didn't start off great with the offense, I thought it was a little shaky, and we did need that like veteran receiver, the guy that defenses will respect a little bit more.
Yeah, once you got Amari, I was like,
once we got Cooper, it really helped the offense a lot out. But credit to, like I said, I'll take it back. Credit to McDermott this year for being hands off with the coordinators, meaning he let Joe Brady do his thing without stepping on his toes. He let Bobby Babich, who is now calling defense, he's letting him do his thing without handcuffing him basically, and it's working, right? Joe Brady's philosophy is to basically run the ball a lot more, make it way more balanced than it's ever been before. Everybody eat mentality, which is, so far so good.
You guys are fun to watch.
And the offensive line, finally, and Curtis knows this. We talked about this when we first started this channel. I felt like it was this team wasn't built for late December, January games because we're just not physical enough to play in the snow, and in our hometown, we're not physical enough, and we just weren't. And finally, Brandon Bean went out and got drafted Osiris Torrance.
You listen to me and my recipe.
Right. Yeah. Well, but you gotta have the players though too.
One, right? One.
I do, but but it's not that. Yeah, but Curtis, you still got to have the personnel though.
Thank you.
You can't just be like, "Hey, you want to do it?"
I said, "Bean, come on, man."
Curtis. Yes, but you have to find the Curtis.
I don't know
God,
why.
I miss this.
You have to have the personnel though, Curtis.
Man,
Curtis doesn't know. Curtis, you still have to have the personnel to do it. You can't just say you want to do something. It took a minute, and that is on Bean because Bean should have probably got on that a lot earlier, 100%. And you are on mute, and it's not. I didn't even mute you. You're on mute.
I was mounting. I didn't want to interrupt you, man.
Yeah, that's all right. But look, my point is we're built now for this weather. We got a younger offensive line. We got rid of Mitch Morse, and I thought McGovern has stepped in very well. David Edwards is okay. I think he's our weakest link on the line, left guard. But other than that, I feel like Spencer Brown's playing at a high level. Everybody was dogging him for a long time. Osiris Torrance. So you see the benefits. You see James Cook, who I think is a good running back. I don't think he's great, but he's looking really good because the offensive line. If your offensive line is really good, they're gonna make your quarterback look better. They're gonna make your running back look better. So it's just working right now. And our defense has always been pretty damn good. And you got guys like Christian Benford, who were like 6th, 7th round picks, is one of the best DBs in the league. He's really balling out. Rasul Douglas has been solid. Damar Hamlin even has been pretty good for safety. Who saw that coming? I still don't think he's a starting safety in the league. I don't think he'll be on our team next year, but he's filled in very nice. Matt Milano's just kind of came back, so we're starting to get guys back as well. So we wrapped up the division, man. Week 13, that's crazy. We haven't even played the Patriots yet. I mean, that's wild.
0-2 right there.
Yeah, we haven't played the Jets. We only played Jets once. So, no, it was good to get it over with. It's a lot less pressure off the team moving forward. We already clinched a playoff spot. We already clinched a division. So it was good to see. Now we go to the Rams. So thoughts, Curtis, on that game? Anything?
Well, I drafted up this whole game plan. I said, Gria, look, this is how you're supposed to do it. And he wouldn't listen. So I said, you know what? I'm so magnanimous. I'm going to go to the Bills organization and say, listen, if you really look at it, this is how you got to do it. I kind of regret it now. So it's, didn't I call San Fran? I think I called the game to a T. They were gutted.
They were. And then they lost McCaffrey in the process, too.
Yeah. But, I still think there's a little bit of whole weakness as far as your run defense. I think they play admirably. I think they play well as a team. I think Babbage is calling a really good game. He's making the most of the talent. Definitely Milano. I didn't really see him play.
Limited. Yeah, they're easing him in. You got to remember he's missing a ton of time.
He's definitely going to upgrade. I think he got a couple of guys that are healing. But it's a really well-coached team. The philosophy is the right philosophy. I think next year, which is kind of scary, you guys have money. You got more picks. Bean, I think, is an excellent GM. There's holes to fill. And he's done a very good job. I think Elam's even starting to show himself a little bit. So you got guys that are developing. And this team is really not at its talent peak. It really retooled very nice, which I hate. I hate saying this stuff about the Patriots. I much prefer talking about the Jets the way I do. So it was clear. I knew you guys were going to smash them. Too many injuries.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is a wreck. I felt terrible. Trent Williams' newborn child died.
I know. It's terrible. Yeah.
Horrific stuff.
Yeah.
So they're not there. They're a shell of who they are. They're not in your level.
No, they're not.
And they've played a lot of postseason games. The bodies are starting to break down. So yeah, I knew it was going to be I think I had said 35 or 4-17 or something like that.
Yeah. I think we all were. The only one that picked the 49ers was Captain D. I'm like, I told him, what you were thinking, bro. It had us getting blown out. I'm like, Are you all right?
Yeah.
Genuine hater right there, dude.
Yeah, bro. I don't know, man. Juan, did you happen to watch a game or any thoughts on that game?
Not. What? I knew he was gonna put up 40, and you, if you wanted to, you would have.
We could have. We took
knew.
Josh out in the fourth quarter. Yeah, pretty much early. Yeah. Zach, any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? They beat the brakes off of the 49ers. Like, keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Anthony, you seeing what a real team's all about? Go ahead, man. Just let
That's
us
crazy.
know.
Well, that one play by Josh Allen won my fantasy. Fantasy
Wasn't
league.
that an unbelievable? Hey, I do got to say that. Yeah,
I
dude.
need about 11, like I think I need what was it, like 25 points out of him or something like that. And that one play put me over the top. I'm like, oh shit, how did I jump up so much?
Hey, there you go.
the touchdown catch and the throw on that play. So that was awesome for me.
Amari Cooper with that vision, man. He's no
bro. I thought I saw it all, like from Josh and them. But that, like in the snow, like that was a risky play, bro. Like that could have went sideways real quick. And I was like, what the fuck was that, dude? But yeah, anyways, go ahead, Anthony.
No, I mean, I think it's exactly what kind of we all expected. I mean, the 49ers were going into that game loaded with injuries, and the Bills went in there, and they took care of business.
Curtis, you got a fan.
Hey, Carmen wants to know your show. Curtis, go ahead.
Curtis, look at that.
What happened?
Carmen likes the show.
Oh, thank you, Carmen. I appreciate that.
What's the name of your channel? Come on, promote.
You just call Ace per Head, Curtis. Just Ace per Head on YouTube.
There you go, Ace per Head.
I covered him every year almost as much as my Dolphins. Then I got
there you go. Areola has you. Areola Grande has you.
I'm fair, right? I'm fair.
Right. So, as Juan, do you remember this? Do you remember this part where we used to do the boo this man and the style and profile? Well, we still do it. So we're gonna get to the Boo This Man award. Boo this man. All right. So Curtis, for your game, I don't know if he did that for the Green Bay. Did we? No, probably not. Or
I got a new one. It came out.
Curtis, go.
Beautiful. Yeah. So Shaq Barrett was on our team. He retired and he came out of retirement.
That's right. I forgot about that.
My GM, who's Mr. Nice Guy, he just loves everybody. He's the nicest guy in town. He decided to let the retirement happen and never notified the DC, the OC. So the OC and the DC are up at a news conference and like, well, why did what do you think about Shaq Barrett and not, and forcing the retirement? They're like, what? We didn't hear about that. It's the first I heard about it.
Oh, no.
So my DM, I mean, we got Dolphin fans that just love this guy. I mean, Flores had dead bodies in the basement. Fangio wasn't a nice guy. Gase was totally insane, which he was. We on and on it goes. And now we've got a soft team and an idiot head coach and DC, I guess, because they're not being pulled into the loop. So when we fail, it's going to be on them. And our GM, the Teflon GM, is going to come back again for the fourth incarnation because the last three were so fantastic. The guy's a snake. He's an idiot. And if Dolphin fans put up with them, they're going to be on this boom man too. So there you go.
There was a lot of reports coming out of your coach and your players about like him being soft. There's a heater.
Oh, dude, my middle linebacker came out after the game and said this team is strong. You got to remember that the Dolphins have the largest and most expensive media department in the NFL. They put stuff out. They're already setting people up to fall. So nice guy, sweet man, super genius, 4D GM. Chris Greer can come back again next year, and it'll be our year next year. So
I
heard it there. Juan, who do you got? Boo this man. Who
there's so many. You got
to pick one. Come on, Juan.
No, I'm going to go coaching.
Coaching, that's fine. You can do
for Alex Van Pelt for taking the ball out of Jake May's hands on the 7-minute mark in the fourth quarter when he wanted to go run pass and set up Jake May for failure with a third and 11, third or 13, something like that, which resulted in the fucking sack, and then that lost us the game. You can go with Covington for not being able to completely predict that Anthony Richardson is basically a running back at this point, and then he's going to be able to run in for touchdowns, which happened in 2-point conversion. This coaching just makes me fucking sick. Like that's what scares me for the future is the coaching, man. I don't know if this is it.
All right.
Yeah.
Curtis, do you want to answer that, or there's a question from Areola? What the F does Ace per head mean?
So I wouldn't be told. I got mental issues, but I probably wouldn't do this just on the fly. I got 3 kids, so like I didn't just like. Basically, Ace per Head is the company that hires me. They it's their channel. They do software for like sports bettors. They're not in the gambling industry, but they do create software so people can use that. So they're called Ace per Head. It's like a whole sports betting thing. And so that's their channel. And
Spin, what's up?
Spin, what's going on? So yeah, they it's their channel, East per Head, and I do the football stuff. So people don't get it. It's like a whole sports betting thing that I never even knew about. So that's what it is. And so I wouldn't be crazy enough to do this. This is such a wild gig, man.
Spin says Curtis with mental issues. No, say it.
Yeah, I know. It's like is the sky blue? Is paint wet?
Zach, who do you got? Boo this man. Who you booing?
I'm just gonna take the O line. I mean, it's awful. The penalties, the lack of production. It's I could go on and on, but it starts there. I guess that's just the tip of the iceberg. Holds, false starts, not knowing how to block anybody. Apparently,
that's important.
That's like probably.
Oh my God, they don't think so. Neither do the fans.
Yeah, I mean on the offensive line. On the
overrated.
Line, you need to start. You need to start. The Patriots do false starts. You need to block. The Patriots don't do that. But when they do block good, it's actually just a hold. So really, overall, it's the offensive line as a whole because they are awful. It's been a hard watch.
I think every person in the line except the center got called for at least 1 hold in that game. If I'm not,
Ben Brown has for whatever reason been good.
That's consistency.
Yeah. So Spin, we're on. Anyone that's talking is talking about their team. So Zach was talking about they're booing their Patriots right now. So Anthony, who do you got? Who you booing on the Jets?
Easy one. It's the easy one here. Up 21-7. Opportunity to go up 28-7. Wide open Garrett Wilson sails the football on the very next play. Throws a pick six to a 300-pound defensive lineman. Obviously a 14-point swing there. The Jets end up losing the game 26-21. Obviously you could do the math there. Hits a wide open Garrett Wilson. We're probably talking about a Jets victory this week, but he missed them and then didn't miss the big defensive lineman on the next play. Easy one here. Aaron Rodgers
the bigger target.
On this one. So. Garrett Wilson needs to put on some weight. Apparently.
Boom. Roasted.
All right. So I got Boo This Man Captain D for picking the 49ers to beat the Buffalo Bills. So that was really easy.
Not the punter this time? Not the
we did fine. I had the boo.
I didn't like the cheerleaders' outfits,
We don't
have
cheerleaders
Can I give a Boo
anymore.
This Man for the Bills? Can I give one?
Yeah, go for it, Zach.
Gonna go with the shovelers out at Highmark because those stands still had plenty of snow, so they
love it.
Get on that. They needed to get on that. The shovelers at Highmark.
Boo! Oh, come on! How dare you boo us? All right, man. Let's get to the styling and profiling. All right, Curtis. Do you have any new styling and profiling that you want to talk about? Because last week it was what? I don't even know. Who was it?
Eichenberg.
Same
I
guy.
talked about Eichenberg. He's got a 15-yard penalty for being so terrible, and that's the style and profile because he doesn't.
Okay.
But then he's so bad, he gives up pressures all day. But he's not, though. Don't worry. There's a whole Dolphin forums and channels saying Eichenberg is a special kind of guy, which I sort of
special kind of guy.
Special talent.
Smiley, special teams coach. Yeah, our special teams was terrible, by the way. You're right. Spin on that. Anyways, Juan. Who you got? Style and profiling.
There's an obvious one. I'm not going to say his name because I'm sure he's parting of being in the majority of the style and profiling for the week. So I'm going to give somebody different, even though he did mess up at the last drive. I think Alex Austin actually played a pretty damn good game, except when he had that really bad penalty to extend that coach drive at the last drive. But before that, he was actually covering pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll let him play more because he just came back from injury and he shows us something, and then we don't have to worry about boundary corner that much for next year. But Alex Austin, I'm giving the even excluding the penalty, I'm gonna give Alex Austin the silent profile.
All right.
That penalty could have gone
Scott
either
wants to
way,
know if
too.
you guys,
Yeah,
if you guys channels, are you guys talking the draft yet? Are you already moving on to the draft?
Not yet.
Not
Don't
yet. Not
fire
yet,
my
Scott.
GM.
Not yet, Scott. Zach, who do you got, man? Silent provider.
I mean, in my opinion, there's really two that I could have gone with.
Mhm.
I hadn't actually thought of Alex Austin, but for me, it's Drake May and Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
As obvious as it may be, because those are the two only good players on the Patriots roster. Drake May had probably the best game of his career, as I said earlier, and Christian Gonzalez proved why he should be definitely a Pro Bowler, even though he wasn't in the top 10 when the NFL
Insane.
released. Yeah, that is absurd.
Insane.
But when the NFL released their AFC and NFC lists, Christian Gonzalez wasn't in the top 10. That's ridiculous. He should have been in like the top 3. So it is what it is, but I guess I'll give it to Gonzalez over May, even though May performed very well too. Christian Gonzalez, congratulations on being good at football, which is especially hard when you're playing for the New England Patriots in 2024.
Amen, brother. Amen.
All right. There we go.
Ooh.
Anthony. Oh, got a boo. Curtis is booing. Anthony, who you got?
People with successful teams.
I'm
Calling us
It's Anthony 'cause
successful
they
team.
suck.
Successful
Crazy,
team.
right? That's crazy.
I'll go violent. I'm going to go with Will McDonald, defense for the Jets, second year. This guy came into the league with a lot of criticism, dating back to being drafted the day of. I mean, a lot of people kind of thought the Jets kind of made a bad choice there, not going on the offensive side of the ball, not going offensive tackle after trading for Rodgers, not going wide receiver with Jackson Smith and Jigba still on the board. And he's developed pretty solidly. I mean, he had a limited role last year, being that third or fourth defensive lineman. This year, he's got a 10-sack season with still 5 games to go. So, I mean, going into the year, there was a lot of pressure put on his plate, especially with the holdout for Hassan Reddick. And he's answered the bell in 10-sack season in his second season, and he's, that number's going to continue to grow, hopefully.
All right.
Sure.
Zach, you want to answer that from Roy?
Respond to the allegations. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
allegations.
I think Christian Barmore is a great player, but he's still kind of getting back into the swing of things. I mean, he's first of all, to be able to get back on the field at all after what happened with him, especially in the same season, I commend him for that. But I mean, he still is kind of ramping up. So I've kind of left him outside of those conversations for now because of the fact that he missed the first 10 games of the season. Now the last couple, he is still kind of working. He's getting his workload back up to what it should be.
All right. I'm just going to give it to the offensive line as far as style and profile. I thought they did a really good job run blocking and offensive, and pass blocking stuff, pass protection stuff. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice, especially in that environment. I thought they did a really good job. All right, so let's get to this weekend's game. Patriots are on a bye week.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do what's up with that. Yeah, I forgot about that. Look at Zach on top of things. Go ahead. What's up with that, Zach?
Bill Belichick interviewing for the University of North Carolina head coaching job.
Really?
That is.
I didn't hear about that.
He had 2 interviews there.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 head coaching interviews. I mean, it's very interesting what's happening too, because it seems like every report is there hasn't really been anything that's in like the middle. It's all pretty much been like, there's no chance Bill Belichick takes this job. He's still interested in coaching, but this is just like a leverage play. And there's a real chance of this happening. He's interviewed twice, and UNC wants him. He might want UNC. There's also a report that if he does go to UNC, he wants to put a clause in his contract where it states explicitly that once he retires or whatever, Steve Belichick would be the next in line and he would be their next head coach, which again, reportedly UNC would be A-okay with doing that. So that's what I got for what's up with that, because that would be a crazy scenario. I'm glad I submitted my UNC application about a week ago. I don't think I'm getting in there because that's a very good school, but I mean,
Good
you
luck,
never
man. You
know.
never know.
If I can get into there at the same time as Bill Belichick, it would be a great time. Great time.
That would be crazy. Crazy epic. Juan, you got any what's up with that?
No, I didn't prepare for any of this stuff at all.
That's all right. You forgot. I know. I forgot. Look, Zach's like, hold on. Anthony, you got any what's up with that?
Geez.
He's got a Jets fan. He's got a whole host.
You should have a ton of what's up with that.
The whole team is what's up with that. I mean,
that documentary, a frick in your court.
Yeah, that's a
what's up with that?
Yeah, I feel like we were ranting on that. I'm trying to think of something I haven't ranted on the past 10 weeks. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk about a documentary. I mean, poor timing. I feel like once again, like, I mean, they could have put those trailers out, those like things out there. I mean, I knew this.
Let's get those trailers out.
Time, but it was awful. I don't know, man. I can't.
What's going on with Fireman Ed? Is he all right? I always have to check in with you every weekend on that guy. Is he doing okay?
I guess last week he wasn't on the Jumbotron again. It's like a week-to-week thing with him.
He wasn't on the Jumbotron? Oh, man.
No. It's like a week-to-week thing.
What? You're going to lose Fireman Ed if you keep playing around.
Again.
He's going to go to the Giants.
Again. Remember that.
Well, all right. In all due respect to Fireman Ed, that was health-related reasons the first time around. And also just other kind of aspects around it too. That I mean, he's kind of been vocal about
why he wasn't getting on the Jumbotron.
No, why he?
That's the real reason. No, you don't disrespect that guy by not putting him on the Jumbotron. Shame on your Jets organization. Unbelievable. Curtis, are you leaving guys off the Jumbotron at the Dolphin Stadium?
I don't even know, dude.
And
we don't get on the Jumbotron too much, except for us like, oh, screwed it up.
We got to get Curtis on the Jumbotron at Hard Rock one day.
Greer sucks!
After he's getting escorted out the building.
Who's this crazy man?
Yeah. Oh, it's Curtis from Mace Red getting escorted out of the Dolphin Stadium. Oh my God. All right, let's move on, man. Let's go to the Jets versus Dolphins game.
Go ahead. On my last podcast, for the intro for Chris Greer, I did the Soylent Green movie with Charlton Heston being dragged out
of the black and white movie. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Tell him Soylent Green is dead bodies. Tell him. Chris Greer, he's a snake.
How long has Chris Greer been your GM?
Years. He's been head of college scout from 2008,
wow.
GM since 2016. But don't worry, Dolphin fans are telling you, we need more time. At least 30 more years to get a full evaluation.
So they promoted him. They promoted internally for their GM role. Like that's why we got the job.
Yeah,
that's strange. Like a lot of like with the Jets like GM search, I'm hearing a lot of people like, do we go internal? But when you look at a team like the Jets, it's been run so poorly internally. Like, why in the hell would you continue to promote someone internally? You're just gonna have the same bullshit.
We've been doing so good. Look at us, man. We've been winning Super Bowls, playoff victories, awesome picks, no drama. You see, there's a difference between your franchise and my franchise.
Yeah,
the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. And you get it straight, can't you see?
We can't match your 4D chess play. I mean,
we're up to 17 chess now. 17.
Keep Phil Savage as the GM. I heard someone asking earlier. Maybe that's the way to go. Although I do like Phil Savage, but I don't think he's going to be the long-term answer at GM. I think he sticks with the organization, but no, not a GM position for him.
You could take Chris Greer. I'll give you a bag of gobstoppers and a roll of pennies if you take Chris Greer off my hands.
There you go. The Jets have turned
it would be like the perfect bridge, Gaze to Greer.
You guys hired what, like an AI firm or something like that to generate your next coach? Something like that, right?
They're gonna blindfold themselves and throw darts.
Yeah. Oh, we got Rex Ryan back. Damn it.
It can't get worse than when it's fake. Those dark strike.
Can't be.
Oh my God.
All
right, let's get to this game. New Jersey Jokes versus the Dolphins. Oh man. Not being nice to your guys' teams.
Hey,
Look
man,
at the Patriots over there. Juan and Zach just loving this. You guys are loving this, aren't you?
What else do we have?
Yeah. They're just sitting back and just loving this. Curtis and Anthony just
so Dolphin body parts in the friggin' in the chat. It's been very entertaining in there.
I gotta say though, like I very rarely I ever go like and look at like other content from Jets fans, Patriots. But when you guys started on that losing streak, I had to see what you guys are talking about. And holy crap, it's very entertaining, you Jersey guys. And it's so like, we fucking suck over here. It fucking Jets. You guys freak out like no other fan base does. I love it, man. It's really is funny. It is really fucking funny. Like Curtis doesn't even get that wound up. Curtis gets a little upset. Some Dolphin fans, but you guys are
what the hell?
You guys but it's so funny because at the start of the season, they're like, yeah, we're the fucking best team, baby. If you're gonna get on this train, you better get on. Oh, that was you, Anthony. Choo choo.
Can't break it up.
So once to start the season, we did the whole, like how are we gonna, how is our team's gonna do? And Anthony had a part where he was saying, if you guys don't, you better get on the train. What did you say, Anthony? What did you say? You better get on the train now.
It was like an out-of-body experience in that moment. It was like,
he goes, Dolphin fans, get out of the way. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Get on the train right now. It's so funny, dude. So I played it back to him, and everybody's been teasing him.
It's good. Good times.
Hey,
good times.
tell Wolverine. What did I say, man? My prediction was Bills were probably going to win, and maybe the Jets would compete, but it'd probably be the second place for the Jets and Dolphins. So I predicted the Bills would not take a huge step back. I said they would win the division.
I'm not alone here.
With some green goggles in that moment.
Happy Wolverine. Nothing like watching Jets content makers on Mondays after they lose. Pure comedy for Monday mornings. It really is funny. Anyways, let's get to the game. So Jets, Dolphins. Curtis. Big time game here, man. Against
big
two
time.
really.
It's a 75 beat chess move. This is where we've got everybody believing we're done. And that's, you see, what happened is you guys like to actually win and do good and look great. What that sets it up is to make you guys not look so special. What we like to do is look terrible and into that last moment when we launch, and then we're going to look extra special. We're going to look so good. It's going to be mind-blowing when we win a Super Bowl after being this terrible.
I love how honest you are. That's really good. I just love it. Anthony, do you have the same feelings as Curtis about your team?
So I was feeling very confident going into this game, but the Dolphins had 10 days to prepare, and that's huge. I mean, that's going to be huge for you guys. I think that might be the separator in this game.
That's what she said.
Aside, I just, again, going with what the Jets have been this season, offensive inconsistency, defensive inconsistency. Now one of our top skill players on offense, Breece Hall, has been listed as out for the game. Sauce Gardner battling a hamstring injury.
That's huge. Mosley again is big.
Mosley's been out most of the year though.
Yeah.
So you're not really getting. And Mosley's been moved to IR. He's probably played his last game as a Jet, I would assume. Older player. I don't see them bringing him back next year, especially with a new GM, new head coach, etc. And they have cap savings if they release him. But it kind of sucks he's never been able to experience a good season. I mean, he's been here through a lot of dark times since Gase was here. It's just unfortunate he hasn't been able to kind of experience good times with the Jets. Anyway, Sauce Gardner, what was that?
Neither of you.
I experienced some good times, I'll say that, but not nearly what the good times I've hope for.
Yeah, your team won some playoff games. What's that?
It's believe it or not, it's actually a fun experience, but I haven't experienced for a long time. But anyway, yeah, Sauce Gardner also out. I again going to this Jets team. It's offensive inconsistency, defense also kind of similar situation, kind of giving up late in the games, a lot of yardage. Dolphins come in with a pretty solid defense, not great, but one that can kind of maintain and contain teams for the most part. I think Dolphins kind of win this game. I had on my channel yesterday. I think I predicted like 27-14, and that was even before I knew that Breece Hall was going to be out. I knew he was listed as doubtful. I think it gets worse than that now without our top offensive player.
Damn,
at the moment.
Getting smoked. I didn't ask you, Curtis. What's your score prediction? He has a 27-14 Dolphins.
I'll give you my non-joke eval. So basically, Vera Tucker and Mosley are both injured. I think they're playing. Not Mosley. Morgan Moses.
Yeah.
But he's doing like a Tehran. He's really beat up. Your offensive line, they're a little damaged. Chop Robinson's going to be able to get some action. You guys are going to be able to. Quentin Williams is going to be able to get some pass rush on us. But Mosley being out, Hall being out. I think we're going to, Achane is a problem because you got Waddle, Hill, Achane, and Jonnu. I just don't think you're going to be able to keep up with that. I don't think we're going to be taking advantage of your run deficiency so much, but I think we're going to win. I'd say 27-17.
Damn.
We when a defense, you guys are not going to be able to put points on. Our defense has got fullback and Ramsey. Brooks is a good middle linebacker. You got Campbell and Seal. It's going to be able to overwhelm your offensive line a bit.
Jeez.
So I think you'll be able to put some points on. But if you win, it's a disaster for us because you're hobbled and all that. So, but I just don't see it. I think we're home. So and we do have that time, and I just think it'll be like 27-17.
All right, Scott's saying
early.
Yeah. Scott's saying Jets won't lose because of Miami's extra nap time, rather because they let their coach go. Man, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about? You think it was a mistake? Like now that you look back, do you think it was a mistake to let him go that early in the season, or just it wasn't going to work out? So whatever, it is what it is.
Saleh?
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned it in the past too. Like I would have liked to have seen him get a little bit more time along with the demotion of Hackett, just to see how like his defense kind of continued to progress with some kind of new play calling on the offense side of the ball. For whatever reason, that wasn't what the Jets wanted to do. They end up firing him and demoting Hackett the same week. Again, hindsight's whatever it is, but the Jets were having issues internally from, penalties, starting slow. Those were the issues even while he was there. The biggest issue that has resulted in him leaving is that the defense is miles away from what it once was. That's been the biggest loss from firing him. But I mean, again, it was going to happen.
I think your interim is a little shaky to me, bro. I don't know, something about him. He ain't winning that. He ain't getting that job. Some interims come in and they do good enough and like, hey, maybe we should bring that guy back. Nah, I don't. He's gone. I don't even know if he makes he finds a job after he's done so terrible.
I think the thing that I scratch my head about the most with that is you promote the interim head coach and then you also tell him you're still the defensive coordinator. I think that's probably maybe where they could have gone a different direction. Promote him. You don't want this guy now, a first-time head coach, middle of the season, amongst all the crap that is what the Jets are right now, and then tell him, but you still need to call defensive plays, you still need to game plan for everything during the week. I think that's putting way too much on a guy. Unless he had head coach experience, like if they had a prior head coach and say, okay, you're interim head coach, you can handle it. This guy's had no prior experience. I think that was probably the biggest mistake. What they should have done was promote him to head coach, let him handle the top duties, and then Aaron Whitecotton, who's a big defensive line coach, which obviously we know what Jets defensive line is this year, so probably would have been a failure there too. But what they should have done was promote him to DC and have him be the play caller, because I mean that's kind of where I thought they were going to go. But no, wasn't the case, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing there. Zach, what do you think about this game?
I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, I'm so excited to not watch this game tomorrow. Really, really wish that I didn't have to pick a team here. Might just go with a tie. But yeah, I do think that the Dolphins are going to win this game somewhat convincingly. Battled, somewhat kept up with the Packers in cold weather, Green Bay, which they never do good in at all. They always struggle significantly. So maybe that's a little bit encouraging for the Dolphins. Obviously, they smoked us. So again, they've gotten back into the swing of things a little bit now that Tua is back. The Jets are the Jets this year. I don't think we have to go over that. We've been really going over it for the last.
No, let's go over it, Zach.
Right.
Repeat it. Bring it. Make me feel good.
I was gonna say we've
we've
been saying the same thing about the Jets for the last 8 weeks, both in the recaps and the previews and the what's up with that and the boo this man's. Not much in the praising, in the styling profiling. We don't get a lot of Jets action there, but everywhere else there's plenty of Jets slander. I don't think I have to go into it again for the 10th time today. But yeah, the Jets are gonna Jets. I think the Dolphins are gonna be able to put up points somewhat convincingly.
Starting our 17D chess, you got it,
Brees
man.
Hall, right? He's out for the season, right?
Yeah, and
Brees Hall's done, right?
Hall being out, the Jets are set up
for the season.
poorly.
Oh, okay, I don't know why I heard.
No, not out for the season yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I mean, it might as well.
I honestly think you probably should just put him on the shelf, but I don't think it's been ruled yet that he's out for the year.
Yeah,
got you. But he's out this game though. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
The Jets are really set up for failure here. I guess they have been all season, but especially this game. I'll go 30-10. Miami. I think it's going to be pretty convincing.
Holy crap, man! What's going on here? Juan, by the way, says Miami needs new hand warmers. Poor soft hands need love too, Curtis. All right, go ahead, Juan.
I'm concerned about the pass rush a little bit, though. I am concerned about that their pass rush ability to get after the quarterback. That could be a wild card.
Juan, go for it.
Not.
In this exciting showdown.
Why the hell I want to talk about
Just
this
give
shit?
us a score. Just give us a score.
But in all seriousness, all the injuries that the Jets have, they really are set up for failure in this game, dude. I'm gonna go Dolphins 24, Jets 10. This is simple.
Holy crap.
Get the game, get them out of here. But I will say this because I won't be around for the end. They played week 17. I'll be 18, right? The last game of the season.
Last game of the season.
Be very careful about that one. Dolphins.
That's what I think. I think the same thing.
That one might be the statement game. And that
I think
one
the
might
same.
be the one that knocks you out.
That'll be a very impactful.
That will be
game.
we don't give a fuck. Yeah, we're gonna play spoiler. And that's a game I think the Dolphins lose to. Anyways,
Me too.
I think this game's closer than all of y'all think. I don't think this is a blowout. I think the Dolphins win. But I think the Jets, the Jets will be the Jets. Yes, that is 100% true. And the Jets will find a way to lose this game. Yes, that's 100% true. But the Jets have been in some close games all the way to the end lately. They're not really getting smoked.
If they were healthier, I would be with you there.
Yeah. Now, right. Now, the Brees Hall thing. That kind of hurts a little bit. I get that. But I still think that the Jets, this is a division game. These games are never really, truly all blowouts. They know each other very well. Aaron Rodgers, yes, I've been shitting on him all year. He's still a decent quarterback. Let's be fair. They still have some weapons out there. They still got Adams, right? Adams is healthy, correct? Okay. Zach Wilson. I'm not Zach Wilson. Sorry. Sorry to bring his name up. Yeah, Garrett Wilson's still out there. So they still they still could put up some points. I don't think the Dolphins are. I don't think the Dolphins are defensive juggernauts out there. I'm just saying, I think this game's a little bit close up into the fourth quarter. I think the Dolphins start pulling away at home. So I'll go 27-23 Dolphins. I think it's a little closer than what you guys are saying. I don't think it's going to be anything like 10 points. That'd be crazy. I think you guys will put up more than 10 points. I just do.
So I mentioned on my channel, I could see it being a little bit closer if there's another situation with a defense touchdown, special teams touchdown, like last week potentially. I don't know. This defense just.
But I also can see turnover. Your defense has been not as good this year for sure. I get that, but you still got playmakers. You still got guys that can get to Tua. He's been known to make a mistake here, obviously, or do. So, like,
really?
You never know.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, field position could be something on turnover. So, I don't know. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I don't. I think the Dolphins pull away in the fourth quarter at some point, but I don't think this is I don't think it's a blowout. I really don't. But I would say Week 18, I'm with Juan. I really do think. I think the Cleveland game is a game they lose. I think the Dolphin game. The Jets game. The Jets game, the Cleveland.
Cleveland, wow, man, you got a bad record.
Listen, Cleveland. I'm gonna tell you right now, Cleveland for a bad team in Cleveland in this time, you don't know. You know what? Like Jameis Winston is Ryan Fitzpatrick 2.0.
It's Jameis Winston. You don't know which one you're going.
He's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's Ryan Fitzpatrick 2.0, and he's playing at he has the whole team believing in him, even when they lose. It don't matter. It's in Cleveland. It's going to be terrible weather, more likely. Big time. They have nothing to lose. Like, trust me. I really don't think the Dolphins win that game. I just don't. Now, I think you beat Houston because Houston's just, I don't know what the fuck's going on with Houston. But in the 49ers, I had you losing. I think you can win that game, too, because San Francisco right now is just, I don't know what the fuck they had too many injuries. All right, so let's get to the last game, and then we're going to get to the rant of the week and then finish the show. So, Bills versus Rams. We'll start with you, Curtis. Bills versus Rams.
Rams are a better team than I think their record shows.
They're healthier.
Yeah, they got their offensive line, I think, back. Verse is an absolute beast. Verse is a real game wrecker. And even now, the other kid they drafted, the D tackle, they've got with the weak at safeties. They got one good corner. They got a couple of nice guys on the front.
Doing that.
Their linebackers struggle in coverage, though. So I think that's at home. Stafford is going to be able to put points on. I think this is going to be a little bit closer than anything. I think Bills win, though. The defense has kind of got high point pieces, but they really can't pull it all together. It's always going to be, if it starts getting close, Allen's going to do something. They're not going to be able to get after him and contain him. Although Verse, I think, is going to have a good game. I think there's going to be some surprises in there with Verse because he's just so good, man. This guy is he's got the physical, the power rush, and he can get around guys. But I think you win. I think it's going to be a little bit of a high scoring game. I think it's, like 31-24 Bills. I think ultimately, though, there's just more consistency there. I think you got the better defense. And I think it'll be close for a little while. But in the end, I think the Bills are going to pull away. They're just too good. Got too many pieces. But I think the Rams are in. It's amazing how they really got gutted a little bit. But they're well coached. They're really well coached. They have very good second half adjustments. They're kind of like a little shaky sometimes in that first half. And then towards the end of the first half, all of a sudden it's like, what's going on? They start rising. They did it with my Dolphins. They did it with the previous week, a couple of games I'd watched. So I think ultimately it's going to be a good first half, third quarter be good. But ultimately I think you'll pull away in like the late third, fourth quarter. So.
All right. Juan, what you got, man?
I think the way you guys play offense, your scheme is not very good for the Rams. I think you guys like to run the football and get the ball out quicker, which is something that they're not very good at stopping. That's what the Patriots did to them when we played them back at Foxborough, and we had a lot of success offensively doing that type of game plan. You guys do the same thing but better. So I don't see how they can really stop you much at all. I'm more interested to see the other side because now you're going with McVay's specialty with those awesome receivers. I like to see how your defense really handles that. That'll say a lot for me. But you guys will be fine. I'll go 30-20. I'll give them 20 points.
All right. Zach, what you got, man?
Yeah, honestly, what Curtis said was pretty much what I was thinking. I think the Rams on paper, very talented team. Matthew Stafford is still slinging the ball. Cooper Kupp had a bit of an off week last week, but he's still doing his thing. Puka Nacua, he's still doing his thing. Kyron Williams has been also very, very impressive this season. And then defensively, that young core is super impressive. What Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and even guys like Cam Kinchins have been able to do this year.
From the U.
Yeah, interviewed him at the Senior Bowl. That's why
a guy I wanted the Bills to draft, and they took Cole Bishop. I don't mind him, but I wanted Kitchens, man. Yeah, I knew he was going to be good. But anyways, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, Kinchins I think he's had a couple of game-winning picks this year, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had that. I think he had the one against the Patriots, and then he had the maybe 2 picks in a game earlier in the year. But point is, very talented team on paper. It seems like somehow they haven't really fully unlocked their potential this year, which is weird because usually that would be an issue of coaching staff. I mean, we kind of see it a little bit with the Patriots this year. Like, they have a few good pieces that they not a lot of good pieces, but a few that they haven't really been able to get the most out of. But that's a lot of that is coaching. You can't say that about the Rams because they are a very well coached team. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there because they have the talent on paper. They have a top tier coaching staff. They haven't really been able to bring it all together on Sundays. So I do think this could be a pretty close game, or potentially the Rams could win it sneakily, but I'm going to go 27. I'll say 27-20 Bills. I think the Bills are too good of a team to pick to lose.
Anthony, what you got, man?
Yeah, so I'm hearing a lot of a very well-coached team about the Rams. I don't even know what that statement means, being a fan of the Jets. I think it's going to be a lot closer than maybe a lot of us are talking about here. Obviously the Bills, I think, still walk away with a win. But I think it'd be interesting to see what this Bills team does with an offense that has a legitimate quarterback with multiple players at skill position players. I think it's probably one of those offenses that maybe could give the Bills a little bit of a struggle. Bills coming off that big win against the 49ers. Maybe there's some sort of trap game-esque going on here, although the Rams aren't truly a trap game. Still a talented team, but I think this is one of those overlooked kind of games with the Rams being at home. But again, with a lot being said, that Rams secondary has been pretty atrocious for most of the season. I think that's an area where the Bills kind of will be able to capitalize against the Rams. But I have this a lot closer than a lot of you guys are going with this. I'm going 27-24. I think the Rams offense, outside of the Dolphins game, has been pretty solid down the stretch these last few weeks. Probably keep it going here. But yeah, again, interested to see how this Bills team does against a team with as much firepower as the Rams have.
All right. I got it 37-23. I think the Bills whoop them up. Listen, the Rams offense this year, 18th overall. Defense, 25th overall. Terrible against a rush, 28th. Against a pass, or 15th. Their offense, 26th in the league. Pass better, 11th. Scoring, 20th in the league. Defense, 21st. So they're struggling this year. They definitely are. They have weapons. Don't get me wrong. Their offense can get to click at any time. They had injuries this year that hurt them, but every team does. Listen, man, I think the Bills have scored over 30 points the last 6 games. So I don't think it stops against the Rams in a dome where Josh Allen could thrive. I mean, you're going to see a way different Josh Allen from last week to this week in a much better, place to play as far as weather-wise for a quarterback to sling the ball. So Stafford will do his thing. I think Puka will get his numbers. We're a bend, don't break type of defense as it is. We just don't give up big plays. So I expect them to have their numbers. I just don't think they'll score a lot of points. We tighten up in the red zone. So, like I said, I just don't think this game's going to be close. I think we're on a roll. We already won the East, so that kind of puts a lot less pressure on us. Now it's just about just having fun, going out there and win, right? So seeding is right now what we're trying to do. So I don't think this will be a problem. Now, against the Lions, that's going to be next week. We'll talk about that, but that'll be that's the game I think everyone's going to have circled. So, but yeah, 37-23, I think we take care of business. I also think we get a lot of sacks on Stafford, who tends to hold the ball a little longer than most quarterbacks, especially in the pocket. All right, so let's get to it. To finish the show out, let's get to the rant of the week. Go ahead and start this thing.
It was a horse performance in the second half. Horse. I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed. Coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in that second half. It sucked. It stunk.
All right, Curtis, do you have any rant of the
Did a great job on the Jets.
You have any rants, Curtis?
For me.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a rant, but I would say that I know you could play the Lions, but man, it's not a rant. I just say I did a comparison to the Dolphins versus the Lions draft picks. I took 4 years of the Lions compared to like 5 or 6 years of the Dolphins. Lions have aced this draft. They have aced their moves. You go look, their entire draft this year is on IR. They got 18 guys on IR.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Lions,
Every linebacker is down. And I'm just I love my Dolphins, but back in the day, Barry Sanders was my guy. So they were like my second go-to team. I love that team. I love what they're doing. I hope they win a Super Bowl. I love Campbell. I know, Tommy, I would be happy for you guys. I think you guys deserve it too. But it's unbelievable the type of team they built. They saw the NFL cycle. That OC is so smart.
Ben Johnson, he's so good.
It's so simple and so complex at the same time. They live on the center in the red zone, which it sets the table for everything. It was just so far advanced the way they're seeing things. It's old school and new school. I just love that damn team. I love the way they build. I wish my team was smart enough to do it like that, but we prefer 75D chess instead, so I'll just run with that with my team. So that's my rant.
All right, Anthony, you said, do you have any rant of the week?
I mean, I guess my rant would more or less be surrounding this, like the Jets with this whole Aaron Rodgers situation. I think there's been a lot of reports out there on whether or not he wants to be back next year, whether or not he intends to play next year. And I think he went out there and said Jets would be my number one choice. I think we've reached a point here with the way he's been playing that we all need to kind of understand it's not going to be his choice on whether or not he's here or not. I think at the end of the day, it really is going to come down to the new GM and head coach and that marriage on whether or not they believe Aaron Rodgers should be here, and it's possible they could decide they do want him here for a bridge type of situation. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I think we all need to kind of get our heads out of the mindset that he has the control in this situation, because I just don't think that's going to be the case anymore. There's been plenty of reports out there on Woody Johnson's stance on Rodgers. I know that there's been reports out there that he supposedly wanted to bench him. I don't necessarily believe that was 100% the case. I think it was more injury related as opposed to production related. But I think we all just need to get out of this old mindset that it's going to be Rodgers' choice on whether or not he's here next year. And then again, I talked about it earlier, but the timing of this whole documentary on Aaron Rodgers was very poor. I think this documentary could have come out before the season started, would have had more viewers, more positive light on it, coming back from an Achilles injury, going into the season. I think that would have been more of a win type of situation. But playing it in December when the Jets are sitting at 3-9, and then actually kind of put a trailer out there for it, thinking that it's going to garner positive outlook and positive interest, I think that was definitely a poor outlook for Netflix. But maybe they even also believe that the Jets are going to do something this year. I think that says a lot to it too. But yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation where the season is gone and we sit here in December as Jet fans looking at draft capital and who we picking and quarterback, and it's just not the world I thought I'd be living in on December 7th. But nonetheless, here we are.
In my opinion, that sucked. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
That'll never get old.
No, I felt really good last week. Last week, one of my brothers sent me the little in the hunt graphic, and it had the Jets on there. I was actually pretty excited. I'm like, whoa, we're in the hunt still? That's nice to know. I don't know what hunt we're fucking going through, but
top pick in the NFL.
Somehow we were in that freaking graphic.
Where are these coaches at now? We need a new rant from one of these coaches to just go all out like that, dude. I miss that, man. Can you imagine?
Anymore. You can't do that shit no
dude,
more.
I would love it, bro.
Around the campfire nowadays.
I would love it. Zach, you got one?
I mean, I'll just talk for a second. I believe I've done one rant this year, and it was all about player safety and how the NFL needs to be able to review face mask penalties, helmet-to-helmet hits, et cetera, for actual penalty calls because so many are missed. And it happened again this week. Hunter Henry got... first of all, I don't know how he didn't get a concussion. No, I don't understand that at all. But he got fully ran into, led with the head, helmet to helmet, and also hit. Then it got hit backwards into somebody else's helmet. So 2 helmet to helmet hits of defenders leading with their helmet on the same play didn't get called for. Luckily, it wasn't serious for Hunter Henry. He came out of the game for a couple of snaps, maybe a drive, but was able to return. The player the main one who led with his head, was fined $22,000 today. But he wasn't called for a penalty. Because why would he be? He's fined $22,000 on a blatant dangerous play, but no penalty flag because the refs, it feels like half the time, miss it in real time, and the NFL isn't doing anything about it to be able to make it a reviewable play. Again, I agree that penalties like a hold or a false start or something like that, I understand why that's not reviewable. Pass interference, because a lot of those are pretty subjective. A face mask or a helmet to helmet, where it is blatantly putting a player in danger, and it is also very clear, did this guy grab somebody's helmet and twist it, or did this guy try to tackle someone and just headbutt him? That is less subjective. That is way easier to see with a review, and it's gotten pretty disgusting at this. Again, players can get fined $20,000 on a blatant penalty that puts a player's safety at risk, but no flag will actually be thrown because a ref will just miss it, and then it's in the past.
So one thing I'll say. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. This is probably a huge homer take. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say Zach, but I think they give us the worst ref crews every week because we suck so bad. The NFL is like, just go over there. I'll just put you there because you guys suck anyway. You're punished. Go
That's
ref
awful.
the Patriots game. Don't call nothing and just do whatever. Because
it's possible. The better refs do get the better games.
That's
by the
what
way.
I'm saying. Because
that is a fact. And they also go into certain refs go into playoff games too. Like certain refs don't even make it. So I agree with that. But I will say one thing about the whole helmet or whatever. Just there's a play where I got to say they got to figure out, because the Trevor Lawrence thing that happened,
that was disgusting. Yeah,
it was bad. But I will say this, and Richard Sherman talked with Rasul Douglas about it, and I'm like, you know what? It's a fair point. A lot of these quarterbacks now are doing this thing, and I've noticed it too, where they're doing this almost like a fake slide, like they're going to stop and they don't. It's very difficult as a defender when you're going that fast to tackle somebody and to stop, because he was saying there was a time where I forget what game, but he was about to tackle the guy and he was hesitant because it looked like he was going to go. So he kind of eased up because he thought he was going to slide. And then the guy just went around him instead of sliding, and he got, it was Mahomes. So
yeah, I was about to say
Mahomes,
that.
Or-
That's
So
been
it's-
happening with Mahomes like every week now,
yeah,
Yeah.
but
and it's on the sideline. It's not a slide.
yes,
Mahomes
but
There's
there's
always
more
goes on
going
the
out of bounds
sideline.
and continues. Yeah,
but
he does have that.
quarterbacks are also other quarterbacks are starting to do that too, where they're starting to almost do and it's just I understand the flip side of it on the defense, because it's like
Yeah,
if you hold up and they don't, and they take off for another 5, 10, 15 yards, that's on you. So they're almost like, you know what? I'd rather take the penalty.
But I mean, with the Trevor Lawrence one, it was.
But that was late. It was definitely late.
He was well. I mean, he was.
No, I get it.
On the ground.
But I will say this though, and Curtis knows this. Go back to the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. They had VHS tapes, the NFL best hits, knockout hits, and those plays were totally legal, boy. Totally. That was football.
Yeah, on the Pro Bowl. Too.
That was football all day, baby.
Yeah.
You better not be running if you're a quarterback. But I get it. Player safety, I understand that. But at the same time, I feel bad sometimes for the defense, because it is very tough when you're going that fast, and not just quarterbacks, just in general. Because I'll see a defender go low, and then the running back or receiver goes low to bulldoze them, and there you got a helmet to helmet. And it happened against the Bills, I believe, against the Dolphins. Wasn't it the Dolphins game?
Yeah.
And he lowered his helmet, and we got called for it. It had nothing to do with us. So it's very difficult. I feel like for a defender, it's tough, man. It's a fast game, and you got a split second to go, okay, I'm not gonna go for this dot. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna slide. Bro, it's so tough. And then I also feel like they protect quarterbacks way too much. I feel like they're easing up a little bit, but the whole falling on the quarterback after you tackle him, I feel it's kind of silly. It's very, I mean, it's like, dude, where do you want him to fall? It's very, come on, stop. You know what I mean? Unless it's totally blatant where he pile drives him down.
He wanted to levitate himself. Levitate your body. Don't fall on the quarterback.
And by the way, Josh Allen sells it too. Like, all the quarterbacks know. They all look at the ref and go,
oh yeah,
they love it. They all do. They all do it. Josh Allen's king of it. And they love it, right? It is so cheap. They know they're not hurt. They're trying to sell the call. But anyways, Juan, it's your moment. Epic rant of the week. Go for it.
I don't have a rant. I have positive things to say.
Ooh, positive things. Go for it.
We could are we gonna end it after this?
Yeah, this is it.
Okay, so then let me just be positive. It's not about the Patriots. I don't give fuck that. Whoa. It's about here.
Right,
this show.
Right.
I am so happy that you allow me to come back for this one time. Tommy, thank you very, very much.
Come back anytime. You come back anytime.
I got to meet Zach. Zach, you're fucking awesome. Good luck.
Appreciate
kick ass.
that.
Are you trying to be a reporter? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you're gonna kick ass, dude.
Thank you.
I love
appreciate it.
Anthony, great to meet you too. You were absolutely
Nice to meet
fantastic.
you, Juan.
You were, even though to downgrade a little bit, you don't have much competition, but you're by far the best Jets person that's been in the show. Like, it's not even close.
You are. There hasn't been a lot, dude. I told you.
Yeah.
There really hasn't been. You are the best.
Bro, it's not a comparison. You oh my god, the dude last year, Jesus Christ. Curtis, love, bro. I would love to see you. You're the smartest football person I think I know. So I love hearing you and your breakdowns.
Oh, that's nice.
And my favorite part is the audience. The chat is always booming.
Yes.
I'm happy to see that it continues. We've been doing the show since 21, right, Tommy?
2021.
And the chat is always booming like it always has. It's good to hear from Scott. It's good to hear from Spin. I love to see the new guys. I'm really happy to be here. I love you all. Thank you very, very,
Thank
very
you,
much.
Juan. Appreciate you,
Juan.
bro.
Appreciate
You're welcome
it.
back anytime, man. All right, man. So that's it, man. We are done. Juan was our special guest. He was our mystery guest. Woo! I should try to get more. I should try to get more mystery guests on here. I don't know who else we have, like the paper bag Jets guy. We had a paper bag
on here.
Yeah, the paper bag.
Jets paper bag guy on here. Oh my god.
We had a jet. Yeah, I had nobody to go, and I put a camera in my room with a stuffed animal with a paper Jets bag, just a Jets. He said nothing. He had nothing to talk about. But anyways,
paper bag,
next week,
What gets on that level? We gotta show some class.
Yeah. Next week, I believe. Oh, Zach hosts next week on this channel, and then Curtis is going to be on Curtis's channel the following week. So, and then we finish it out with Anthony. So, once again, guys, appreciate you, all of you guys, and Bills Mafia, you guys rule. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next Saturday at 4:00. Peace out.
Go Bills.
Jets.
Gross.
Terrible. Go Bills.
Bye-bye.
See, Peter, he's too fast.
You gotta tackle me. It's B. You gotta press B.
I'm pressing B. He's too fast.
Going over here? Going over here now? Never get tired.